Good evening. I'm John Bailey. This is People to be Heard, the program where people who have something to say have their say. And tonight you have Mary Prenon, Woman About Media. And I'm with Jim Benerofe, of course, and we are speaking with you, Mary, because you have a great new manifesto about America's tremendous problem, and that is weight, in which you tell a story which is very human. It's called I'm Lazy and I Love to Eat. Don't we all? This is a great title. And the reason I was so taken by this book is it's a very good read. It's funnier than Irma Bombeck's writing.
Wow.
And you have a laugh at the end of every paragraph, and it's very amusing. But it's extremely serious about the problem of weight. Now, why is this book going to be so effective, Mary? Take a look at what Mary a few years ago. She has gone
Right.
and that is an amazing weight loss, but it was not easy.
It was
and
not easy.
Your book is all about that. Jim?
Well, I think writing a book is one of my ambitions, and I'm always interested when somebody does something like this. How did you decide to do it, and how long did it take? And
Well, that's what's so unique about this book. It took me literally 19 years to write, because I started just taking notes in 1998. I had gained a lot of weight, and I was trying, like everybody else in this country, trying different things, trying different diets, going to different gyms, and just writing down my experiences, and along with funny things that happen. And after a while, I said, you know what? I think this might make a good book. So I kept at it through the years, and then when I started getting really serious, which is 2015, I found a small gym that I really liked, and I actually started finally making some progress. That I started putting everything together and putting it into chapters. I had a woman that I had worked with. She does editing for some of the big publishing houses in the city, and she helped me to kind of put things together. And we got it together, and it just came out this past spring. So it was a long time coming, because that's how long it took me to finally get myself together.
So you took notes. Could you read them? I can't read my notes. But,
I typed
You
them,
typed,
yes.
see, that's why she's smart, ladies and gentlemen. And you were a radio reporter on radio in Westchester. Then you were also a print reporter. Right?
I was, with the Westchester Business Journal for years.
And then you moved into the public relations field. And when she works now, do you want to mention the firm?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm with the Hudson Gateway Association of Realtors, and it's a trade group, and we represent 11,000 realtors throughout the Lower Hudson Valley, the Bronx, and Manhattan.
Right. Now, what I think is so unique about this diet book, it basically tells people that there are no easy ways to lose weight.
There are no easy ways. I mean, for some people, there might be. I tried everything. I tried liquid diets. I tried, like soup diets or whatever, whatever the popular craze was at the time. And it just didn't work. And, after years of trying, and the reason it took me so long is I kept yo-yoing. I'd lose maybe 20 pounds and gain it back. And so many people have done this. And what I finally found for me is that find a place. I started with working out. Find a place that you like. And you don't even have to join a gym. Just find an activity that you like. Maybe it's walking, maybe it's swimming. Something that you're going to stick to. And when I found, it's a small gym. It's actually at a wellness club at a hospital in northern Westchester. And I loved going there because it was small. The people were really friendly, and I didn't feel intimidated. And it was a place that I could come and feel comfortable. So I started going there, even when I didn't necessarily feel like working out. I was like, well, I'm going to see so-and-so, or, I'm going to talk and sit and talk with this person. They knew you by name when you came in. And it was nice because you could commiserate while you're doing the weight machine.
That's true. You point out in the book that the glamorous fitness clubs aren't necessarily good because they make you feel bad if you're too overweight. And tell us about your critique of most fitness clubs.
You know, it's up to the individual. Some people may like that. Some people may like the big gyms. And you know, Lord knows I've spent a lot of money over the years with personal trainers, with gyms. But when you walk in, and for me, it was this huge, you know, place with a lot of already fit people. And in the book I say I was a before and a sea of afters. You know, I just felt like the after. I don't really belong here.
Yeah, and there was another great line you had in the book. You saw a woman who was extremely fit and you really hated her, and you said, I wish I had a body that women hate. And then you added the great line, but I have a body that men hate. I mean, and the book is filled with these self-deprecating one-liners at the end of paragraphs that will have you laughing out loud. And it's very amusing from that standpoint, but it also, you're able to generate a lot of sympathy, and I think strike a chord with the reader who will start feeling better about their inability to lose weight.
Right.
And you give them hope. It's one of the few diet things that give hope.
Well, the other thing is that I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a personal trainer. I'm just a regular person. And I've been there, and I've been overweight, so I can relate to people. A lot of times, you know, people will write books and they're already in shape. They're thin, they're nutritionists, they're personal trainers, and they can't really relate to people that are going through this problem. And that's why I think, you know, I'm just a regular person. Yeah. I'm 61 years old now, so I'm not like a 20-year-old trying to do all this crazy acrobatics. And I'm saying it is possible. Finally, at this age, you know, you can get fit and older. It doesn't matter.
Yes, you know? We really have to emphasize this great achievement that Ms. Prenon has been able to achieve. Let's see the before and after once again. If we can have that, it'll come up short. There we are. Now, that's like two different people. Yeah,
and that picture that you're looking at on the right, that was last year, my 60th birthday. So, so it is possible. It's just, you know, finding, like I said, finding what works for you, and really not, you know, you kind of have to tune out, like, you know, magazines where you're always, I mean, it's getting better now where they have people with more realistic figures, but, you know, for the most part, it's like very thin people, and you have to kind of tune that out and say, is that realistic? You know, I mean,
the media create a dream world that does not exist.
Right.
Now, I haven't had a chance to really read the whole book, but one thing that I like is you're not talking or pushing some kind of fixed diet, like.
No.
And that's what most people, I think, don't understand. There is no diet, scientific diet that you can go on. You've got to eat regular food.
Right. Yeah.
And the most thing I would say is maybe portion control.
In fact, you talk a lot about the various mistakes you made personally over the years of your life, and you talk about your cousin, Charlie, who had personal problems, and he had an alcohol problem.
Right.
But then you had an epiphany with him when he pointed out that you had a food addiction.
Right.
As he was addicted to alcohol, and you were both fighting at the same time. Can you talk about that?
Sure. We had, you know, grown up together. We were the same age, and he was almost like a brother to me. And he passed away several years ago. He had a heart condition, but he struggled all his life with alcohol and drugs. And we would go out sometimes when I was in Rehoboth Beach. That's where he lived, Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. And I said to him, you know, sometimes when I go out, I don't even have a drink. And he looked, he said, how can you go to a bar and not drink? And I looked at him and I said, well, how do you go to a bakery and not eat? And it was like, aha, okay. My thing is food, your thing is drink, so, you know.
See what I mean about those one-liners?
Yeah.
everybody can identify. Your sense of humor is very unique, some great lines, and and the way I felt is your whole story about this could be made into a screenplay.
Oh boy.
But I mean, it just it moves right along. And another personal side of the book is you talk a lot about the treasures of friendship through life and keeping things up. The last part of the book, you dwell about many people who have passed away that meant a lot to you, but you do it in what I feel is a positive way that makes their memories steer you on.
Well, I dedicated the book to my best friend, Mary Kelly Adams, and she passed away in 2015. It was a tragic car accident, and it was just an absolute shock. And my group of friends who I kind of grew up with, and actually
call them the Hens.
The Hens. There's maybe about there was probably about like 7 or 8 Hens. So Mary and I used to talk all the time. You know, when I moved to New York in 1983, and we had known each other since we were 5 years old, and we still kept in touch and all the time, and we would always talk about weight because we were both battling weight, and we would just laugh. I mean, it was good therapy for both of us, because you know, I would say, "Oh, I'm so fat they had to reinforce the George Washington Bridge." So then she would say, "Well," she was in Philadelphia, "Well, you think that's bad? They had to, you know, reinforce the Walt Whitman Bridge when I crossed it." And we go back and forth with all these like crazy stories, but it was fun, you know, because you have to laugh at yourself. Because I say in the book, if you don't laugh, you'll cry, because it can get depressing. You know, you look in the mirror and you go, "Oh my gosh," you know. You just have to, if you use humor and you laugh and say, "Okay, well, yeah, I screwed up. I ate a bunch of cookies. Big deal." You know, you just get back on the horse the next day. And that's what took me so long to kind of get over. And so many people do this, they punish themselves, and then they get into this depression and this funk, and "Oh, I don't care. I'm just going to eat what I want."
You eat more.
You eat more.
Yes.
And then you just, you know, instead of saying, "Okay, well, so what? So I screwed up. Big deal."
Yeah, the fat cell lobby is the strongest lobby in the USA. Forget about the NRA.
Yes,
the fat cell
absolutely.
lobby just works on you daily. Right. Feed me, Seymour.
Feed me, feed me.
Yeah. Now, one thing, let's bring up the E word.
The E?
Exercise.
Exercise, okay.
And that is this. She puts a new spin on what exercise means, and not that it is good for you, but it's also good for you mentally. It's less expensive to exercise than to pay a therapist to tell you how to feel good. Exercise will make you feel good, right?
If even, and like I said, you don't have to spend any money at all. You can, you don't have to join a gym. The one that I go to is very reasonable. It's $65 a month, and I go there like almost every day to get my money's worth. So, but you could just go out and take a walk. You know, sometimes if you're kind of in a bad mood or you're upset or sad, if you find you go for a walk, you start to feel better. You just naturally start to feel better, and that's what I say. Even as simple starting out, walk around the block. Take a walk. If it's a hot day, I like to go to the mall. I mean, we're fortunate here. We have a lot of malls here in White Plains. I go to the mall and take a walk. And just don't bring your credit card, because then you'll stop in the stores. But just getting that movement going. And if you do one day and say, "Okay, well, I did one day and I feel pretty good. I'm going to go out tomorrow and maybe I'll walk 3 blocks this time." And you kind of build up. And then what happened to me is, once I got into this rhythm of exercise, you feel like you don't want to ruin all the work that you did by eating something that you shouldn't.
Instead of an eating habit, you have an exercise.
Right. So maybe instead of Chinese food, you're going to have, you know, you'll buy a piece of fish or do something. And I put in the back really, really simple meal ideas, because I work full time. I go to the gym every night. By the time I get home, it's 7:30. I'm exhausted. I can't prepare a gourmet meal.
And you recommend a set time each day to exercise.
No, well, you know what? For me, it's easier in the evening because I'm really not a morning person. So I need to, it just takes enough for me to get out the door and be at work at 9 o'clock. So for me, I don't go home first. That's the one thing. Don't go home first after work if you're going to exercise because you won't go back out the door. Either if you're going to walk, walk right after work or go to the gym right after work. But for some people, maybe the morning is better for them. It all depends on what your personal clock is like. But if you do set a specific time each day, then you're going to more likely stick to it than just random times.
Now, eating is another important part of the diet. You really give the folks that read your book a idea of what to just change to a healthy eating style. Want to speak about that?
Yeah, what helped me, this is going to sound strange, is I have occasional AFib, which is atrial fibrillation. It's like a heart arrhythmia. It could be hereditary, and nobody seems to know where it came from. But one of the triggers of AFib is high salt. And we don't realize how much sodium is in the foods that we're eating. The American Heart Association recommends like 1,500 milligrams a day. And it's really hard. When you start reading labels, that's what I finally started doing, reading labels. And wow, this has like 500 milligrams of sodium in it. And I started watching the sodium. And when I did that combined with exercise, that's when I really started to see a substantial weight loss. Because the sodium it's not only, a lot of it is not only bad for your heart, but it will retain the water. So when I started watching, and as a result of that, I really, I put myself on a low sodium diet, talked to my cardiologist about it, and I saw a huge difference. And even with soups, like, I eat all that soup in the winter, most soups have like 600 milligrams in just for half a can.
Yes,
so you eat the whole
the
can.
name brand soups.
Most of them. I found
Really?
the one that I like, it's called Health Valley. It's in the organic section of the grocery store, and it's very low sodium. When you first start eating it, you'll go, ooh, there's something wrong with this. But we're so used to that heavy salt
taste.
And then when you start eating it, then you get the whole flavor of the soup.
You make a good point. A lot of soups taste the same.
Because of the salt. And that's one of the major things that I recommend is watch the salts, watch the sugar. There's a lot of hidden sugars in things, fruit juices, things like that. I just drink water. Sometimes I'll drink like lightly flavored water.
So like you brought your own.
I brought my own water today. and that's the other thing, when you have AFib, you can't dehydrate. So I'm always with water. Because, as we get older, we dehydrate quickly. And the more water you drink, too, that's wonderful to help with your weight loss. It's great for your skin. And sometimes when we're hungry, we're actually thirsty. It's our body's telling us we need more water. So, but what I do too is I have my regular meals, but I'll also do snacks and healthy snacks. One of my favorites is apple with peanut butter. So you're getting fruit, you're getting a little protein. And then I have unsalted nuts that I keep in my desk.
And lots of diet tips, what to eat when you're hungry, when you want a snack.
Right.
And the menus and all the things that you prepare for yourself are in the back of the book. And one other thing I think is really terrific about your book is you talk a lot about how when you've had setbacks in life, losing a friend, losing your dad, losing your mom, and how this would have a tendency for you to go back eating again and feeling sorry for yourself. How do you suggest the viewer deal with those so that they don't compromise themselves?
Well, it took me 19 years to figure that out.
Well, you've been there. She knows. Listen, folks. Right.
Anything can be a setback, even if you have a hard day at work. Sometimes, and you're just shoving the cheesecake in or whatever.
Or a terrible television show.
But the thing is, we're all going to screw up. I don't eat perfectly. Some days I'm going to screw up. But the thing is, you can't punish yourself for it, which I kept doing over the years. Punish, oh, I shouldn't have done that. And then, you, like I said, you get into this depression.
And to feel better, you'd munch on something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But you have to just say, okay, and you just have to let it go. You let it go, okay, so what? And just, you know, try to, when you're feeling like, if it's, you know, the middle of the day or whatever, and you're feeling low or whatever, you're upset with yourself, try to take a walk. If it's the middle of the night, obviously you can't do that, but just, you know, try to say, okay, tomorrow's another day. I'm not going to let what I did yesterday mess up today. And you just have to just let it go and don't dwell on it. That's the thing. I spent so many years dwelling on things. You can't.
It's not necessarily feeling sorry for yourself. It's an emotional thing.
You're feeling depressed. You're feeling.
You need something to ease the pain.
Right. I mean, you can always go out for a manicure, pedicure, you know, or do some, do something that makes you feel better. Maybe there's a special place that you like to walk, or a place that you like to visit, a park or something, just to, you know, break that, snap you out of that mood.
That's right.
You know,
watch the sun come up.
Right.
That always
exactly.
does it for me.
Exactly.
But
if you're a night person, watch the moon come up.
Watch the moon come up. There you go.
Well, the moon is spectacular. There's so much beauty around the world.
Right. And it helps if you have cats or a pet. You know, you talk to the animal. And
yes.
say, hey.
My cat is my Shrek.
They'll listen. They're not going to be
exactly
judgmental.
what your mood is. They know exactly what your mood is.
Right.
They have these very disapproving looks when you're doing something you shouldn't be doing, and it's amazing how they are. But did you have to cut out alcohol significantly?
Oh no,
you did not.
I like red wine, and actually red wine is good for, you know. But I don't. I have maybe if I'm going out to dinner, I'll have a glass of wine, maybe two, no more. Like I said, I just watched the sodium content, and I eat a lot of fish. I like fish, and I do a lot of grilling. I have an outdoor grill, and then in the winter I have my George Foreman. Can't get by without my George Foreman grill.
A woman who grills, ladies and gentlemen.
And you know, like I said, the recipes are very simple. I also have a wok, which is great for making, you know, chicken and shrimp, and it's so easy because you just come in, you just put a little olive oil and just basically throw everything in there.
So you mentioned chicken, and what are the meats and staple foods you eat?
I really don't eat a lot of red meat. Not that it's bad for you. You know, occasionally I'll do like a hamburger or something, but I usually do chicken or fish. Sometimes I'll do a vegetarian meal, like grilled eggplant and zucchini. I have one of those little choppers, as seen on TV, choppers. You can chop up your vegetables in like 2 minutes. I like anything easy because I'm lazy. No, I'm lazy and I love to eat. But you know, like I said, when I get home from the gym, I don't want to spend a half an hour making my dinner. I need something really quick, and I'll do boil and bag rice. I'll do the steamed vegetables. The frozen ones, you throw them in the microwave, and it's healthy.
Yes, you can read this book in a very, very short period of time, but you will find yourself really struck by the personal insights and revelations that Mary reveals in this book. And she puts a new spin on exercise, which has a bad connotation. Exercise always is dedicated as hard. I remember Jake, one of the fitness gurus, he said, "Don't quit." So when he said those words, "don't quit," it's true, but it had a negative connotation that it was hard.
It's hard. Right.
Yes, it is hard, but on the other hand, it does wonders for you, and you always feel good after you do it. Now, how do we get this book?
You can get it on Amazon.com or BarnesandNoble.com.
And it's one of the better personal growth books I have read.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
I'm somewhat more interested right now in figuring out some of the details of putting the book together. Like you had to get an ISBN number and stuff like that, and you had to decide on a front cover. How did you go about those things?
Great cover, by the way.
My friend of mine, she worked with me. She's a graphic artist, and she started her own company. And she, can I give her name? Kate,
Sure.
Her name's Kate Borman, and we
Say
worked
it again.
together. Kate Borman,
Mhm.
and she and I worked together for many years. And I told her about the book, and I said, I want you to design the cover. And I told her what I wanted, and she did exactly what I said. I'm picturing like a caricature of myself in a hammock with junk food around. And this is my little house here, and that's New York City in the background, and my cats, of course. And she just, it was like she read my mind. It was amazing. And she put this, and so showed me the first draft. I said, I love it. I absolutely love it.
Usually the first thing that's done from a creative standpoint is right on the money.
Yeah, oh yeah. And I also want
That's
to
why
mention,
I never do first drafts.
I wanted to mention real quickly my friend Paula Garber, who helped me edit it. She really, without her, I mean, you have to kind of have somebody objective look at it because you're so close to the project. And she really helped me, and she said, well, this should go in this chapter, and this should go over here. And she put questions, well, what about this? And she really made me focus, and she helped me immensely with this.
Right.
So.
Now, is there anything more you would like to say about where you go from here? You now are on a plateau. You want to lose more. And how long did it take you to lose all this? You had your ups and downs.
I have my ups and downs. I'll tell you, I mean, the book is very honest and open. I'm 160 pounds now, and I'm 5'8", and my cardiologist is thrilled. And if I lose some more, that's fine. And he said, no, you're good. You don't need. And I should also mention that after I lost all the weight, I was able to completely come off my cholesterol medication, which was great. So
Health improves
Yeah. Oh,
when
yeah.
you lose.
I'd like to
Health
see your
improves
cardiologist.
when you lose. Right. There's a slogan. Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
right.
Jim, any final thoughts?
No, I just, as I said, how did you pick a publisher?
I went with it's an Amazon company. It's called Create Space, and that's how I did a self-publishing. So, and they were very helpful, and they were great. They helped you like every step of the way, and as I said, it's owned by Amazon, so that I'm up on Amazon.com now.
Well, Mary Prenon, you have been heard. The new, slender woman of the media. Thank you for coming
Thank
on
you
the
so
program
much for having me, both of you.
and sharing this terrific book. John Bailey, Jim Benerofe, for People to Be Heard. Good night.